We're good? We're good.
Can I?
Thanks guys.
I can't move, so I want to be upset.
I'll move.
Oh,
Yeah.
can you? Thank you.
Go. All right. So, hydration, nutrition. That's what we're talking today.
And some gut one?
If you want. Yeah, towards the end.
Okay, sweet.
But first of all, like, I want this to be like a conversation. Like, I don't want to just be speaking at you guys. I want you guys to like interact and make sure we can all like be on the same page. So, first of all, who records their nutrition and calories? Does anybody do that? None of the interns? Oh, we've got, what's your name again?
James,
you do?
Yeah.
So
James, Alyssa and Ben.
Macros, thank you. James, Alyssa, Ben.
Don't get it wrong, because you'll get in trouble. James, Alyssa, Ben.
James, Alyssa, Ben.
I'm testing you out now, alright?
Calories?
Yeah.
Macros? What do you do?
Just my fitness pal.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Does anybody record their water intake?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm trying to get at least 2 bottles of water a day.
2 bottles, and how big is the bottle for you?
It's 800 mils or something.
No.
I think more 800 mils.
Like we're trying to get 3 of these.
Oh,
Like obviously more diet, right? In there. But yeah.
a quick question for you.
Shout
This is
out.
a quick question for you. I've already got a question. I'm always interested in this. No, I want to know these things.
Yeah, it's okay.
Jeremy uses cordial, right? And because of Jeremy, I use it too.
Yes.
Would you rather us getting our liquid through water or
Yeah, so that's a good question.
diarrhea? Yeah, I know it's a good question because I answered.
Well, you're just so smart.
Thank you.
Alright, so it depends. Depends on your exercise performance demands. And we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
But first of all,
Uh-huh.
okay, let's do this. Pyramid. A pyramid of performance.
No?
Okay? I don't like doing pyramids, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I've got pretty common.
What do we think is like part of these foundational pillars to exercise performance and just general athletes?
Well, fluid intake is one. Surely, fluid intake, nutritional intake.
Okay. I want to let you're going to have the
I'm
answers
just so competitive.
with your honours and your little degrees.
I'll shut up
right?
around, but if that, I'll give them 30 seconds.
Let them breathe.
30 seconds, and if they don't answer, I'm going for
He's
it.
right though. Hydration is
Of
huge.
course I'm.
Okay? Because obviously that's what we
Brick, say
started
that.
with.
Sleep.
Yes.
I'm just so competitive.
Nutrition.
Huge.
Better. Good.
Stress.
I want the interns to answer it. Everyone else shut up,
Yeah,
right?
that's a really good one. Okay? Shit.
Can you spell it out so we know?
Hey,
What's the last test?
stress.
So,
Hydration. Sleep. And you know what? I did a post on this.
Let's get it up, baby.
I actually...
let's see.
She's all right, baby.
I'm trying to get Brick to do it.
I want to go and
Do it in person. Actually, you could do it while you're there.
You should do it while you're
I'm
there.
going to America.
Why don't you drop my name? He knows me quite well.
Anyway, so I don't like talking like it as a pyramid, but instead like this. Like a actual like cogs that move wheels. And so,
I remember this presentation.
yeah, this was in
Yeah,
this culture.
It's good, yeah.
So like this is not on sleep, but obviously sleep is huge, guys. But when we think about like what moves the cogs for performance, think of it like cogs. Maybe instead of a pyramid, because everything moves everything else. And I think that's a nice way to contextualize it. And so we got nutrition and hydration here. When we talk about these 2 pieces today, okay?
Are you saying that sleep, because it's the biggest, that's the most important?
I would argue, and I think the evidence supports it, yes.
I agree, but I'm just saying that because that cog is bigger, you're
Yeah.
saying that's the most important.
I'm saying that, and this is another presentation for another day, if this, that's funny, right? But look, sometimes you need to do it, right? Like sometimes, like, all right, you just got to cop it. Like, it's going to happen,
Good carpet.
right? But when sleep is affected,
Yep.
everything else is affected in such a monumental way that it makes sleep the disproportionate cog in most circumstances.
Also, mental health is affected,
Yep.
your resiliency, everything's affected from sleep. Everything, man.
Absolutely.
I agree 100%.
Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this. We're going to be talking about hydration and nutrition today.
Yeah, but sleep is such a big component.
So, for the 3 interns, do you guys train?
Yeah.
Of course I try.
Weight train? Okay, cool. Who plays? Do you guys play sport?
Lisa?
Soccer, yeah.
Soccer?
MMA.
Yeah?
She knocks you out, bro.
Well, you too, bro.
She definitely knocked me out. I've got a weak chin.
MMA,
Gosh,
soccer,
you make all.
Yeah, soccer.
soccer. Then okay, so you guys all play. And do you guys want to work more with? Because I know these guys, right? So I'm asking you. Do you guys want to work more with general population or athletes? Okay. Or a mix, maybe.
Probably a mix for myself. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that makes sense why you're here. All right. Good to know. So, oh, it's there. How much, maybe if you've read it, don't answer. What percentage of our body weight do we need to lose, do you guys think, before we start to see very large decreases in performance?
2%.
Hey, bruh,
So I can't.
calm down.
Is that right though?
Yes, it's right.
Give me a tick.
It's 2%.
Give it a star.
But it's 2%.
It's 2%.
I'll shut up from now on, right? I'm always right though. Just say I'm right.
2%.
So I'm right?
You're right.
Thank you very much.
So if 100, your
You
average,
said that second, by the way.
if your 100 kilo athlete is
Uh-huh.
going to lose 2%, obviously we have about 2 liters that they're losing before we see massive, well, not massive, I'll calm down, large performance decreases. So I did a really nice unit on environmental exercise physiology. We talked about a lot about hydration and altitude training and etc. etc. And so, oh, there you go, 1.5 kilos, a 75 kilo person. How do we think we could measure that and manage that practically with our clients and athletes?
I don't know.
Calm down.
30 seconds. Come on, you three. You breathe, not you, but you three. No, come on, think. I'm grading all three of you right now as well. So come on, you got it.
Well, what do you guys think? Check this out. Okay? This is hydration and aerobic performance. Hypohydration means just dehydration, right? It's low, okay? So you guys can see, I don't need to stand. We can see if someone is mean weighted skin temperature, okay? And here is time trial performance at the top. So we can see that time trial performance decreases dramatically as you get more and more dehydrated. And for you guys who all train athletes, all train with athletes, all train.
No, I'll put it.
Who did that? Who all train people who really care about performance? I just think it's the arguably like one of the most important things that's going to affect performance is hydration. And so before we even talk about nutrition or sleep or any of these other big rocks, do we even have an awareness of how much our clients and athletes are drinking?
We just said none of us actually track our fluids. So
Exactly.
do you track your fluid? Obviously.
I track my. How do you think I track my fluid? I don't. I can do this, right? You can count how many bottles you have, right?
Is that a 2 point? Is that a 3 litre?
2 litre.
2 litre.
2.
Good enough.
You don't ask your athletes how much do you drink, you just fucking ask them all the other questions. Except actually like, how hydrated are you? Have you had any like, I don't know, you're feeling off, like, you might obviously ask them after that, but it's like, you don't ask them how hydrated, like how much have you had to drink it, like how many litres of water have you had?
Yeah.
Just, all the other stuff is like obviously more important, but it's like, yeah, if you don't hit the fucking small rocks and shit like that, or sorry, hit the big
Big
rocks,
rocks, yeah.
and hit all that sort of stuff, it's like, yeah, fucking, I guess.
And you guys might think like, all right, 2 liters. It's a lot of weight, right? Like if you weigh yourself every day, like it's not that easy to see a 2 kilo drop in weight per day. But if you exercise in the morning, you sleep during the night, so you're not drinking, you wake up, maybe it's warm as well, so there's more sweating going on, you're losing more water. It's actually not that difficult in the right environment or the wrong environment to lose like 1 to 2% of your body weight. Particularly, all right, I've got to go train in the morning, weight train, competition, training. And now suddenly, I just have a quick glass of water, I'm out. It's like how many of our athletes and clients, and maybe we do that, like there might be quite a few. And so automatically this starts to really apply to a lot of people who train in the mornings. People who don't really think about how much water they drink in the mornings.
Also, hydration would affect. I mean, we're looking at performance, Al, but I'm guessing hydration would affect fat loss and muscle gain as well. Am I true in saying that?
I don't have evidence here on that, but
Theoretically, though.
like we can drive less of a stimulus because our performance is going to be decreased in strength training. And then so the stimulus that we drive in that session is probably going to be less. So as a result of that, we could see.
I'll just give you one example for you guys as well for AFL teams, right? So AFL teams, they weigh pre and post. If it's on a hot day, players can lose. This is no shit, bro. They'll weigh, and it's a hot day, they're sweating like in the pre-season. AFLW players even worse because they're playing in summer, like Michaela.
Yeah.
The AFL boys on a hot day could lose 6 kilos.
Yeah.
6 to 7. I could not get over that. Like
One
Steve,
day.
well, dude,
That's
Steve
been
on
a
the pre-season in one match, 6.5, and he's already got nothing to lose anyway. But because it was hot, lost 6.5. So it just, I'm trying to give you an example. If it's hot, like what Alex is saying, it's a hot day, and you know you're sweating. You need to replace that. So that's a perfect example of it.
I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find that rate of loss, if I have anything on here. What do we think? And think about humidity as well. I lived in Singapore, and the humidity there is crazy, okay? Anybody been to like Singapore, like an Asian country like that?
Thailand.
Yeah? Yeah. Like, how often are you sweating?
Lot, all the time.
Especially during training.
Exactly. All day. Every day. And the demands for then hydration jack up dramatically. And so summer has different demands to winter. Tropical climates have different demands. And so you, like, before you talk about nutrition, it's like this is why it's such an important piece. Because it can be so easily affected. I'll go back to where I was. Oh, that's right. Humidity. So you guys are going to sweat a ton more in the humidity, and your body temperature is going to be higher. So your ability to cool your body is going to be much lower because your evaporation off your skin, when the wind hits it, the air hits it, cools your body down. So when it's warmer and more humid, that's a lot harder. So you guys have to think about, if I want my athlete to like not get heat stroke, which is not that uncommon in the heat, and have better performance, then what are my strategies? So let's think of a strategy that we can do pre and post for our athletes, knowing that 2% of weight loss causes all types of detriments in strength performance, aerobic performance, etc. What could we do?
Drink 2 litres of water before you play a game or whatever.
Okay. What could be a limitation of an arbitrary absolute number?
Everyone's body's different.
Yeah, size is different. So how can we make it relative?
Between the range.
Could you measure how much they dropped previously and then kind of...
That's exactly it. You weigh yourself, and this should be standard in my opinion, particularly in the warmer months. You weigh yourself pre. Let's say you weigh 80 kilos. You can measure it in the same shit you're wearing, or probably do it like with less clothes because your sweat is going to be
What do
heavier.
you want it? Like I got told, you tell me if I'm wrong, I got told do it always in the morning.
You weigh yourself.
In the morning,
Yeah.
in the morning, and the way I was taught with Scott, my bodybuilding coach,
Showing my cousin, yeah.
is take everything off, like be naked, stand on, like take a piss, and then after I have a piss, I weigh straight.
Yes, absolutely. But that's a different context to pre and post training. We're trying to figure out how much water,
you lose
fluid someone lost.
Okay, yeah.
So yes,
But that is right though.
yeah, but that's a different context.
Okay.
So pre,
Is that what you do though in the morning?
absolutely,
Okay.
every day.
That on. What do you weigh so I know?
85.6 today.
Okay. Just so everyone knows, I'm 93. Just so everyone knows.
I'm very jacked.
Fucking looking good right now. I'm 35 years old, I'm looking fucking good. I'm being serious. How old are you? 20
You're
years?
okay.
How old are
You're
you?
not bad.
How old are you?
Doesn't matter.
24 years old, 25 years, I think.
27.
He's 20,
This is my age, yeah.
27, but remember, you guys are young. I'm an old bull. He's had the old bull, now he wants a young buck. Old bull, young buck. She called me gay. She was so gay. She can't have it. I like putting up photos to get attention. I'm an attention seeker, apparently. That's what she said.
So cool. Right here, there is evidence to demonstrate that in some strength power activities also compromised when poorly hydrated, 2.5% to 5% body weight loss. The amount of work done was less when hypohydrated, when dehydrated, compared to when they were euhydrated, which euhydrated means like a normal state of hydration.
That's very interesting, because the reason why I say that's interesting is because you think that dehydration would affect more aerobic conditioning exercise than strict the bowel, which is more of a neurological, neurological exercise. That's interesting. But I'm intrigued then.
And you can, it says cumulative total work completed. So if you have 20 sets of volume for your session at a certain rep scheme, 8 to 12 reps, we have euhydrated in the black, which is normal hydration. Then hydration 25 that's 2.5% body weight dehydration. And you can see pretty consistently, you guys might, oh, there's not that much difference between these, right? But if you look here on the y-axis, you can say, well, if that's a percentage, that could be the difference between hitting your PB, hitting your top set, and being like, what the fuck's going on? Like, why couldn't I hit my shit today?
And you can see in like set 5 and set 6 how even more fucked it is. Like it's, what is it, like 4 times the amount from set 1 to set 6 in terms of HY50. And that's like, you're leaving, use the term to like fucking leaving games on the table, leaving like moves on the table, so it's like,
Oh, wait.
well, well, talking about my sort of stuff with this, like I never would have thought of that. Like I just, I don't know, just go in, just go fuck, I'm just going to train.
Just get after it.
You just don't think about it. Like,
Where'd you get that leaving the games on the table? Where'd you get that saying from? It's almost like you got it from someone around the corner.
Probably, I don't know.
Possibly.
You gotta ask them.
Just so I know, our hypo is dehydrated. Hyper would be, is there hyperhydrated?
Yeah, you don't want that.
You don't want that either?
No, you absolutely don't want that. You can get brain damage.
Well, I got told, so some woman on a radio show in America had to drink 5 litres of water in an hour and she died.
Yeah.
So is that true as well? So you can be underhydrated and overhydrated?
It can cause edema in the brain.
And how you measure that? Hold on. This is what I want to know. How the fuck do you measure that then as well?
Measure what?
Well, you're saying, this is interesting because you can be hypo and you can be hyper.
Yeah.
Where's the line? Like, how do we draw the, with the line? Like,
well,
how do I know if I'm drinking too much? Because, like, I'm very serious about this. I've had an athlete once say to me, and it depends on the your exercise activity as well and how much you sweat. I understand that, right? But where is the line where it's hyper to hypo? I'm interested to know.
There's 2 lines. One is this. The other is your athletes or you should not be heavier after your competition. So if we weigh ourselves 80 kilos before and then post, there's 2 scenarios. Well, there's a million scenarios, but there's 2 main scenarios. You are lighter, which is the most common. Let's say I'm 79 kilos. And then there's another scenario. I'm pretty much the same. I'm 80. And then there's another scenario. Oh, I'm 81 kilos. Why the hell am I heavier?
That's not good.
So people can overcompensate and drink way too much. That's not good either. You don't need hyperhydration. Now, this is the most common. Our athletes are going to be dehydrated, particularly in the heat. So how can we manage this? We step on the scale they weigh 80 kilos. We step on the scale again, make sure they're like no clothes or as minimal as possible because the sweat will make your clothes heavier. 79 kilos. How do we know how much water to give them?
150%.
Sorry?
150%.
Where do we get that from? Is that a guess? Is that something you've seen?
You see it in a book?
Seen in a lecture.
No,
That's very specific, Ben. Anything more in a lecture?
that's good.
I've seen a lot of shit in a lecture as well, Ben. Doesn't mean it's right. I've seen a lot of shit talked about me in a lecture as well. In different lectures, actually.
How's information potential?
Anyone?
No, Ben's actually close to on the money, or pretty much on the
Oh,
money.
sorry, Ben. Apologise.
So,
Sorry, Ben. I'll apologise then.
but you and your athletes, we can think about, we don't just want to meet it. There's a reason why we don't just want to meet it. Because say, why don't we just drink 1 litre and be done with it?
That makes sense.
Because you're trying to like, I'm trying to find the word.
Because you're losing the water continuously.
Absolutely.
Oh.
So, for example, I did sauna today, and you think, all right, heat loss, a lot of sweating's going on. You step out the sauna, you finish your competition, you finish your game, you finish your training. Okay, I'm done now. But hold on, your body temperature just jacked up like maybe 0.5 degree to 1 degree. It doesn't just take a knife down, right? It takes time to get back down. Therefore,
Still losing shit.
yeah, you'll still be sweating, which is an evaporative heat loss mechanism. You'll still be sweating, so you can drop your body temperature. Thus, you'll still be losing
Yeah.
fluid.
No, it also depends on how long you're in the sauna for as well.
Of course, it depends. Like it depends on your climate, depends on humidity.
I like that, how you said, between 125 to 150. So if you lose 1 kilo, I don't know if you do this, Al, but we do, I tell my athletes, for 1 kilo loss, you need to rehydrate 1.5 litres. So not only 100%, but that
Yeah.
extra percent on.
That's exactly, yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly what we're talking. So as a guide, because what happens if we have a 2-a-day? We're training again, which is common for our athletes.
Yep.
So then two things become important: getting another meal in, particularly a high carbohydrate meal, and then hydrating enough where we are in a euhydrated state so we can perform again. Why? You know how many things can impact performance? Like everything. Like psychological, physiological, nutrition, sleep. You got dickheads talking shit to you, trying to mess up your game.
I'm like doing it all the time though.
There's all types of shit. Why make water one of them? It's like the easiest thing.
But hold on a second. I asked you the question before about this douchebag over here. I need to know the answer. It's doing my fucking head. Brick and he drinks so many sugary
We're
milk.
gonna come to that, okay?
I'm just so excited to hear it so I can give it to him. I want you. I nearly got you, big boy. Well, I can't stay mad at him. Look at him.
He's coming after you.
No, because he says this all the time to me. He's like, Wood, I like to get my water intake up, so I like Diet-Right. I bought 7 flavours of Diet-Right because of him.
It's more palatable, so if I have more water, if I can get hydration in that way and I drink it, like I'm going to get more fluids in there, if I'm going to be better hydrated.
I was just looking at how beautiful you are.
No,
Sorry.
that's great. No,
That's literally why I did it in the first place.
Is that fine?
If there's two versions of Jeremy's, there's one Jeremy who does Diet-Right and gets enough water and he's hydrated.
Here we go, I know
and
the
there's
other
another version who doesn't, who's dehydrated.
Okay, so you'd rather be hydrated then?
So you would rather like them just drink anything to get hydrated?
Not anything.
No, but like, yeah.
Pick out poison. Because sometimes you gotta meet your athletes where they are.
Yeah.
I'm a simple man.
You are definitely a
He
simple.
needs his diet
Can we have
right.
a look at Diet? I actually don't know what's in Diet-Right.
You
exactly.
don't know?
I don't drink Diet-Right. Show us the diet.
That's blasphemy here.
Bring it over.
It's fucking. It's not like it's sugar.
I've got 7 flavours of this motherfucker. You know what?
I need a water in it.
Diet-Right's the drink of champions, Jeremy.
99% diet right, but I'm a water.
He hates water.
So do we think, I want to see what you guys, do we think like cordial or juices are like bad, or do we think they're fine, or it depends? Like, what do we think?
Well, it's not bad really. It depends. Context.
How much
If you're
Depends on how much you are consuming.
correct.
Depends on who I'm
Like
training
your
as well.
brand skin too.
Yeah.
So,
Athletes like generally more water based, like less sugary.
Yeah.
Because I find like they spike and their energy levels just fucking go crazy. And I've had a lot of athletes get addicted to sugar and caffeine. So I try to stir, but you know, if they're gonna have it, they're gonna have it. But and then things like whenever I would do like a weight loss thing for like an MMA fighter, like sugar drinks are just not the way to go for them if they're just trying to cut weight. And
it's the easiest thing to cut out, is
Yeah.
liquid calories.
yeah,
And they're the easiest things to drink.
yeah.
For your MMA athletes, now it's a whole nother conversation when we're cutting. We have to watch sodium, potassium, whole electrolyte spectrum. We're gonna enter this dehydrated state. Oh man, I just think like I'm just now thinking for MMA. Like for you, this is. I would read this whole thing. Like this is a whole unit. I would read this whole thing for you, because your stakes are so much higher. It's like you're not just playing a game. Like, you know, you're going to war in a way. You're fighting another person, and if that person is in a better state and better prepared, that's the difference between getting knocked out and not.
Just if you take too much sodium, does that hold water? Does sodium hold
Yes.
water? Yes, it's so.
Sodium will draw water, which is part of the reason some people justify cutting sodium out for bodybuilding shows.
I remember football. I used to take sodium tablets off the cramp,
Yeah,
and holy fuck, I would bloat up something chronic.
yeah.
Just hold water, and then if I want to, when I talked to Scott about me dropping weight, we cut a bit of sodium out of my diet, and straight away I leaned up a bit. But then you've got to be careful how much sodium do you need in your diet, so you don't, Depends. But we need sodium for muscle contraction, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's always interesting to hear different people's views. Do you watch your sodium content, or
Yes.
you do? Is there a reason why? Because you're bulk. Are you bulking at the
Yes.
moment? Okay. So but you still watch your sodium content?
Of course.
Okay, fair enough.
I watch my blood pressure. Sorry.
No,
I just took it. Didn't give it back.
Dehydrate.
Where are you going? Come back in 5 minutes. Hurry up. I miss you.
Teacher, come back in 5 minutes.
Oh no, you've got to come back. I've got to go with you to street culture.
Before we get there, there's a couple things to look out for. I just want to give you guys some practical shit, okay? So, if we look at a urine color chart, which is really like how we ascertain someone's hydration status, who thinks they're in like who's hydrated versus not hydrated? Like, Manov.
The light one is hydrated.
No, I know, but like, I got you, bro. I mean for you.
He literally said it in such conviction.
Yeah.
You're right.
Like,
You're on the money.
you are right, Manov, but fuck, he's asking about you.
Yeah.
Fuck up.
Let's be honest with ourselves. Has anybody like, I'm pretty consistently dehydrated?
No.
Medium? I appreciate the honesty. Okay. This is our gauge. And so as a general rule of thumb, before competition, before training, can we get over here? Can we pee? Well, we all know what it's like to pee like somewhat clear. So can we pee like a clear light color, indicating we're in like a little bit hyperhydrated or at least euhydrated state? Because at least then we can eliminate hydration being a factor to why performance is shit.
The thirst response is not a good indicator of when to drink, is it? Because I've got told there's a lag in it. Is that true?
Well, there's a lot of things that it can influence, like salt can influence it.
Okay.
But no, the thirst response can be like, it can be manipulated by a few things.
Okay.
So it would be
Because my athletes go off when they're thirsty. I always say, don't do that. I want you to drink before that, because that is I always say there's a bit of a lag, and there's multiple factors to it as well. Would you how would you express that to them?
I would say, hey, I'll do the 2%. I would show them the 2% thing, and I would I'll send you some of this stuff, guys, later, like the studies and shit. And I would say, it's going to be the easiest thing to fuck your performance up or make it better.
It's important, isn't it, man?
And so I would just tell them, because practical, just tell them to do this. Tell them, can we pee clear? So I weight train in the mornings. I'm not interested. The graph's gone. It's somewhere else. I'm not interested. The higher your ambitions and goals you with your athletes, the more serious you got to be. I'm not interested in letting hydration being a problem for me. So I will overdrink when I wake up in the morning. The first thing I do is drink water after I weigh myself, and I'll make sure I drink about a liter. 500 to 1 liter will get me to peeing clear, and I'll urinate 2-3 times from the time I wake up to the time that I'm at the gym in a couple of hours. So I'll go from this state, which most of us are when we wake up, and I'll pull it to this state.
Do you feel better? Do you feel physically better? So when you wake up, you might not feel great. You might be a bit groggy. And then after that water, do you feel physically better after you're in that state? Or I know it's subjective, but
I'm biased. I'll say yes, but I don't usually get here to give you an honest answer.
Because I piss excellent. So where's excellence on that chart?
Man, you're all the way over here. You're actually down there.
That's what I
You're
thought.
outside the building.
That's what I thought.
When you're too clear, it's like then you're fucking...
It's not good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're hyper...
Or you can start to be excreting a lot of minerals, and then your electrolytes. And so, there's
I told you that.
You can take anything too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's on a scale, really, isn't it? You're right.
So the emphasis is let's go from here more towards here. Okay? Now, this is one gauge. This is another. So pre and post. Let's make sure this is generally evidence-based recommendation, 125 to 150%.
Nice, Petey.
So that would mean our athlete could weigh 80.5 to 81 post after they rehydrate. And you would drink that over a reasonable amount of time. You don't need to rush that. Okay?
Oh, so just so I know this right. So I understand this right. You'd suggest just sipping at it, not doing what I do, and just like
I remember we were in
there we go. This will be good.
we were in New York and we were staying in New Jersey, and Christian's like, "There's 1 liter bottle here," and just just for the fuck of it. He's like, how quickly do you think I could drink this whole bottle with? And he just drinks the whole thing. Like, I feel sick now. Yeah, do ya?
Yeah, but I'm competitive. I like to push my boundaries. I know where my boundaries stand.
Yeah, that's true.
I felt so sick afterwards.
At least learn not to drink fucking a litre.
Hey, you try and beat me, Britt. Come on, beat me then. You want to be a smart ass? Beat me then. You can't. Let's have a 1 litre drinking competition.
Well,
a vodka.
Actually,
vodka.
wait,
Let's do vodka. You'll
wait.
Imagine if you finds that out.
1 litre of water in the morning.
How long does it take me to drink half a litre to 1 litre?
Yeah, in the morning. When you see you first wake up, how long do you take to drink?
About an hour.
Okay, cool.
And you got to see his wake up ritual. Oh my god, unbelievable! But Jesus,
It's just see when he smells his food, bro.
It's not that crazy.
It's not that crazy.
It's not that
It is
crazy
crazy.
nowadays.
What is it?
He's got a wake up ritual that he takes off his mask, breathing, mobility, then I don't know. I'm guessing he weighs at some stage and gets the water.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that?
Yes.
I loved it. I watched it. I thought it was great. Personally,
What
I liked
mask?
it.
Yeah.
I watch him in the morning. It's beautiful. And then he chair stacked me. He chair stacked me. Unbelievable.
That's still on the Instagram.
I don't. If you want to check that out, check it out. It's funny. Yeah.
Anyway, okay,
I
so
can't remember that.
He put shit on me.
You didn't
Yeah.
wake up, bro.
I know. I was deep
Like a
sleeper.
rock.
He loves it.
there is sports drinks. Do we use them at all?
Listen, I'm telling you, Gatorade is fucking a sugary shit drink. The real electrolyte sports drinks are the electrolyte drinks, in my opinion. I would love to know your opinion. I'd love to know your opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're kind of saying the same thing.
Do you agree with me? We're like brothers, you and I.
No, not necessarily agreeing with you, but like we're saying the same thing. Like, Diet Right and a Gatorade, it's on a spectrum,
Correct.
right? Do we have a Gatorade we can pull up? Let's be
How
accurate.
much sugar's in Gatorade, guys?
You see, then there's this conversation of
Have you seen Maximus? That's even more fun.
That's
Yeah.
fucked.
Why don't you shut your mouth about Maximus? I love that drink.
He's having a shot of fucking fire, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck? You really pushed my buttons today. No, you have.
cool. Oh, god damn it.
Oh, well. Well, Manov, you're my new favourite. Well, Britt, you move on. Chris, you're gone.
Fuck me.
No, you've got for 10 weeks and you're back to being my favourite. Don't worry about that. Manov, you're up there again.
All right, let's look at Gatorade.
Oh, you want?
Hey, listen
You
up.
get a board out for your
So-
nose. It's fucking lying.
In 600 mils,
Yeah.
we got 36 grams of carbs, 75 milligrams of potassium. I know that doesn't mean much anything to you, or 270 milligrams of sodium. Just to give you guys a guide, ideally we want to hit around 3.5 to 4.5 grams of potassium, K's potassium. And then sodium, that's where people like to argue about salt being bad, but salt is actually very useful in healthy populations. Like Christian said, you need it for every single muscular contraction, requires sodium, potassium. Sodium, potassium channels open up and close. And you need these very, very important minerals to support that, muscular contractions, and regulate a whole bunch of body systems that we're not here to talk about too much.
What did you say the amount was for sodium? You said 3.5 to 4.5 potassium.
I would hit, if you're going to actually write it down, try and go 4 grams is the SDT, Standard Dietary Target.
Is that for both?
No. No.
Okay.
No. If you have 4 grams of sodium, you'll blow up.
Okay.
The Chinese buffet sort of thing is going to
Fuck both.
The
Tell me, bros.
does anybody remember the recommended is what is it? 1
Tell me, bros. I'm waiting.
actually.
Nice pause, he knows best.
I got a note for
Tell
it.
me, what is it, bro?
We know about this stuff.
And what's the recommended amount of sodium per day? I actually want to write it down.
No, he actually does know. He's just being an idiot. Brick, tell us.
I'm not sure. I think it's.
What do you approximately think?
Come on, Brick, hurry up.
Give me an approximate.
Hurry up, Brick.
If you're having 2 grams, it's pretty fucked.
See, I knew he knew it.
I know it's
Brick.
fucked.
No, it's not pretty fucked.
Okay.
No, it's okay.
I don't know.
No, it's
I
not.
love him. Oh, he's so good.
I don't know.
Okay.
You my boy, Blue.
I didn't say anything like this.
So I'm just going to be a fat fucking dumb.
How many people would drink coffee?
I'd say 2.4.
Almost 2 grams a day.
2 grams.
2 grams a day is the recommended standard dietary intake for the average healthy person. They'll regulate that if you're overweight and obese and have high blood pressure. Okay?
So, if you are overweight, would they reduce that sodium content?
Oh, yeah.
Particularly if you have high blood pressure, yeah.
So, my old
potentially.
man who's got diabetes and high blood pressure, they'll regulate.
Yes,
it.
but what we see in the literature is that potassium, if you see someone you love, someone you care about has high blood pressure, what is very protective of that is potassium.
Potassium.
So if you can have high potassium foods, which many like colourful fruits and vegetables are, sweet potato, like you can reduce some of the downsides of high blood pressure.
Do you, can I just ask you three, do you guys actually know the five, none of you guys say anything, I want to know if you guys know this, because it's something I researched when I was younger. Do you guys know the 5 electrolytes? Can you name them?
The 5 electrolytes?
5 electrolytes.
Okay.
Magnesium.
Wait, say it again.
Magnesium.
Yeah.
Potassium.
Yep.
Sodium.
Yep.
Um,
Think about milk.
calcium.
Yep.
Um,
Sodium, potassium, calcium, chloride, magnesium, chloride, right? You got 5 of them, right? You need to know them back to front, side to side. I used to research this up in my room, right?
You don't need to know them unless you can do something with them. Okay, so first, I know you like rotator cuff, alright?
Subscription material.
There we go.
Largest force cross section area, I do know these things.
I could give a fuck if you guys could memorize this if it's not relevant to you.
Well, it's kind of good for me because I know you know your shit. But anyway, don't worry about me. I'm just giving out jobs. Love you all. Don't worry about me. No, it's simple. I agree what he said. Alex is all on the money. I understand it, but you need to know what's the reason, the function. Alex is right. Yeah. There's no point of just spouting it off like I do, but I actually understand why we need electrolytes. If you can, like Alyssa knew most of them, if you can understand them and then understand the reasons why you need to know them, then fine. So, potassium is a very important one as well.
Especially also for like as an electrolyte for hydration and just general health and well-being, just to speak to them. Yeah.
Yes, true.
To ameliorate blood pressure, which you don't want high blood pressure over long periods of time. The recommended daily intake, which is set by the Australian government, will be this: 3.4 milligrams for males, 2.6 for females.
Interesting you brought that up. Do you agree with the Australian recommendations out of all people?
Out
of all people?
It's a good start.
Out of all people?
It's a good start for micronutrients in some cases.
Not macros. Sure you don't agree with what they say about the macros?
I think the protein is very bad. The protein is pretty
I'm glad you said that because Jesus, I work with some good dietitians and they say to me that they agree with the micronutrients, but the macros, the protein's all off, not enough. And carbohydrates too much, they reckon.
I don't believe there's a recommendation for carbs.
Sure. Okay, what I'm talking about, have you seen that food pyramid? Sure you've seen the food pyramid?
I'm not talking about food pyramid right
I know, but...
I'm going to calm you down, okay?
Right, so I'm just getting excited, I love this.
Real quick, this number may not mean anything much to you guys. Just in general, it's if you look up high potassium foods, it's going to be a good idea to have a few more of them, okay? Because you guys may not know how to measure this shit yet. SDT, they are much better indicators of what we should be hitting as well. So, more potassium, blood pressure, let's back up a little bit. Anyway, we're right here with the Gatorade. Is Gatorade like useful or not? Potassium. So now you can see, oh, it's fuck all. Sodium is a little bit more, but potassium is fuck all. Okay. Yeah. So suddenly, like, oh, this might not be the best electrolyte drink, but it's got some glucose. It's got like a decent amount of glucose.
And what do you need glucose for, guys? Energy. Correct.
So the idea that Gatorade, like I used to be a bit on the bandwagon that like sports drinks were a bit shit, okay, and sugar's like bad. Many years later, I've come around to a little bit of a more, I think, well-rounded perspective. And it's a tool. This is a tool to support aerobic metabolism, support energy metabolism, support your exercise performance. What we see in the literature is that, 1 hour or less of exercise, we could probably get away with water.
You would say that again? Sorry, what did you say?
All right.
Just so everyone knows, sugar as well is for people who love sugar, it's just as addictive, even more than cocaine. And I swear to God, it's got, when I learned about it in rehab, and that arousal pathway, man, incredible when I read about it.
So
I couldn't get over it.
Let's answer the question, how do we hydrate more effectively? Well, we have water. That's going to be cool and useful for about 1 hour or less of physical activity.
Oh, so you're saying you can get away with just using water if you're under 1 hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, we've seen, I could show you, it's hard to find, it's a lot of notes, but we see in the literature that we can better hydrate when we actually add in some glucose and electrolytes. When do we add it in?
It's longer than 2 hours.
Is that just a guess, Ben?
around that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ben.
But like we can push it. We can just say generally speaking,
Fucking Ben, mate.
like 1 to 2 hours plus.
Depends on the month.
Oh, mate, you have to vote tomorrow before we go away so you get
Can we
fined.
do it on Saturday?
No, oh, you say that, so.
Yeah. It's not too
Hey, hey.
I'm looking after him so to get sued like I fine like me.
The politicians can wait.
You're gonna get fined, don't get fined like me, bro.
Yeah, model citizen.
3 times I've voted, the 4th time apparently I go to jail.
So, who exits? Who?
Don't give a fuck.
Crazy.
I'm a hard
Um,
I'll go to jail.
Who? Anybody exercise more than 1 to 2 hours?
Me.
One bout. Oh, so almost everybody in the room. And
I train
who
with Brick.
consumes glucose and electrolytes when they train 1 to 2 hours?
I do with Brick.
You, you do
I
Ben?
actually have.
Oh,
You have
sorry,
you have
Jerry,
better.
me.
All right, cool.
I mean, the electrolytes in the pre-workout.
So, good start. Is it good? Yeah, it's fine. Could we go great? Yeah, we could go great if you want. We could add some electrolytes. We could add in a bit more sodium as well. But a fine start. Do I think you need to pay like, I don't know, $3 for one of those?
$4.50.
Can you make your own?
So what
Yeah.
would you recommend to like give to like if you had a
Ah.
client, you know what I mean? Like,
Good, Alyssa. Good question, actually.
I mean, like,
Put him under
Gatorade's
pressure.
the best, and what's the,
Love that.
It's fine.
what's the recommended beverage?
Yeah.
Well, I want to know this answer. This is interesting.
Yeah, let me
Here we go.
Here we go, because this is it, Brick. This is it, Jeremy.
Oh, fuck.
I should have.
You know, Gatorade's like $4, $3.50.
Yeah, well, we'll fucking pay one every time we're going to train. It's fuck.
$4.
That's fine.
$4. Can you believe that?
Wait,
Coffee.
no, just get Maxie's gummies instead.
Which ones?
Max is, his pre-workout gummies, he's going to put electrolytes in it.
They
as
were
well.
downstairs.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
really nice.
Are they good?
Yeah, they're legit. So,
We were designing a logo the other day from the startup.
yeah, because he wants to start up his own fucking like little thing to
Who
sell.
does?
Maxi.
What?
Because he wants to sell them.
Really? We sell them here.
That's what I mean.
Oh, good.
Like he's just designed them. So he's got ones with pre-workout, and he's put ones with pre-electrolyte, ones with electrolyte and creatine.
Mate, take the face of it. I'll do it.
We'll tell him if you'll promote it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I'll
we
do
were like all protein.
Hello, Jeremy.
But it'd be too
Wait.
disgusting. But fuck it.
Oh, God, who's that good-looking guy?
I just realised there. You know. I
Shred
just
wrap.
realised I've done a post
I
on
send
this.
us. How
Go back to Lucy. Go back to the hot one. Go back to the hot one.
Send us. How much is your nutrition calculator think?
Oh, it's the hot one.
$3.49.
Brick promoter.
That's going to answer the question. That's going to answer the question I used for Alex.
Yeah,
I just mean
baby.
it's easier to fucking
Yeah.
measure all this shit than me. Like, bro,
Okay,
you
okay.
can make your own fucking table out of it.
So, Chris is asking, because there's a really practical question, it's like, oh, God, is that I can't fucking calculate this shit. Like, what you would
This is
need
the bomb, by the way.
is you would need a nutrition tracker,
Yeah.
or MyFitnessPal is shit, or you can use Chronometer.
I use Chrometer.
Yeah, so you can calculate your micronutrients from there. We've created our own, and basically you input your foods into our right here in the blue.
Wait, who made that? You and Ben?
Yeah, you mean Ben. And then,
Don't you think that's a bit, I love it, bro, but don't you think it's like for a general client, they're going to have no idea?
no. Yeah,
But
yeah, of
so-
course.
Oh yeah,
It looks
no,
like,
but he's not like he obviously knows what in terms of this.
People
stuff,
who
like-
work-
Thank you, Jeremy. I'm asking
no,
you.
he's talking about for the client, right?
I'm talking about from the client.
Yeah, client's perspective.
for sandals. Yeah.
Cool. His girlfriend's using it, like, and you know,
Is Alex doing
So
anything
it's
with
like-
those?
Yeah.
although she has a background in it, so all the client does is fill out the blue. So you fill out what foods you eat,
Oh, I get you. Sorry, man.
and I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it looks like a lot.
But it does, do you understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you advice and feedback for a client, being
Yeah.
like, the fuck?
So in the video that I shoot for them,
Yeah.
hey guys, I know this looks a lot, just fill out the blue. And then everything autofills. Your quantity, how much? Huh?
How did you make
Because they put, it would be,
Listen,
no, you can do it like a fucking Excel. Of course you can do it.
listen, Sandos is the bomb.
We got a guy who's really amazing with spreadsheets, and he's created a check-in tracker, our nutrition.
Wait, let me tell you something now. This is why we moved away from fucking shit like fucking True Coach, because you can make your own fucking templates and it's so much better.
Wait, we don't have True Coach anymore.
No, but I've created the programming template that we
Oh, I don't use it, Brick.
Yeah, yeah, it's
But I love it. I love it. I love it, though. Brick, right? We love it. Yeah.
Another piece to this we haven't talked about is micronutrients. Macros and calories is more important as like, are you in a surplus deficit maintenance? We'll talk about it in a bit. But then another part of that, which is really important, is what the hell are we deficient in? So how are we going to know that? Oh, it's no problem. It's inbuilt here. So I can know at a moment's glance whether we're deficient in iron, B vitamins, folate, choline, all these electrolytes here, auto conditionally formats, and whether we've hit our recommended daily intake, okay? We use that as a minimum baseline. You'd be surprised how many people don't even hit the minimum RDI.
I did have a good laugh at one of your posts, man. Unbelievable post. I read the whole thing, thought it was fantastic because more people need to know this. How that client went to a doctor and the doctor wouldn't test them for fucking testosterone.
It wasn't testosterone, but it was another test.
No, it doesn't matter, but there's another test that you want your own health and they wouldn't test it. And you're going back and forth. Is that true or did you make that up?
Come on,
Bro, that is incredible. Can you explain that to me? Because that's very important to understand.
I
I got a lot from it because I couldn't believe
think you guys can see the post if you want.
Yeah, but what was the mineral you're looking for?
I can see. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's potassium. Oh, it's sodium. I know. You guys don't have to do all this fancy math. Anyway.
But that's all guesstimates though, isn't it?
None of this is guesstimates.
That's all objective quantitative data.
Yeah, this is it.
Okay, baby.
This is all, but yeah.
Just quickly, so I know, did you break my thing?
Yeah.
Real quick question.
Yeah,
Was
so
it your question?
how
Was
do you
it?
do it?
Yeah, the wood sharing was.
About sharing.
It wasn't.
When you got 100 people
Oh,
on
okay.
You create a
Okay,
copy.
fair enough. Cool.
how do you do that?
We did
So,
it.
fair enough.
File.
So I put money into. Okay, cool.
Make a
cool.
copy.
Alright, fair enough.
Okay, makes sense.
So on.
Yeah,
Cool.
Because I was just thinking from my brain, so I was like, if I want to actually start selling it.
Oh, I hate you so much right now, Bruce. I love
Copy,
you.
copy.
Okay, cool.
So Chris was asking, because you guys can buy it, we sell it privately to coaches. So Chris was asking, how we do it.
How's your missus going with it?
Hey,
Yeah, loves it.
Does she? Loves it. Yeah. How long has she been doing it for?
oh, that's right. I was gonna.
4 weeks, 5 weeks now.
Alyssa,
Yeah.
you have the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she does the training.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But like real good, man. Like electrolyte, hitting all this shit.
Does anybody else got any questions?
Wait, stop. Take that photo up there. There's a photo. Who's that Woodford? There. Go on, mate.
Yes, we're at DeFranco's. Oh, this is in your anniversary. Congratulations.
What?
The Woodford anniversary. So I made a post on
Soon, actually.
Gatorade
September.
back on the day,
Are you back by then?
and I'm gonna
Yeah.
find
Oh,
it.
sweet. I was hoping you back.
10 years, baby.
I know 10 years been doing this shit, eh? 2 years, eh? Fucking 10 years. It's lasted 10 years. I just ad hoc'd everything at the start. Yeah, that will do, he'll do. I'll hire him because he seems okay. I bend with him, I'll hire him. These days the hiring process is a bit more streamlined. Kieran will I can't hire people, I'm just no good at it these days, I give up. I hired Brick though. Brick turned out alright.
Yeah.
Look at him drink the water now, Jeremy.
Oh, this is really important. All right. Sorry, that was dramatic. What? And we took it. I took it out because I don't want you guys to see. What's the main mineral we think we lose? Ben, if you know this, don't answer it. What's the main mineral that we lose, an electrolyte we lose through sweat? And you don't. You be quiet too.
Sodium.
Yeah, that's it.
I just gave him the answer. Sorry, I had to do it.
No, nice.
You know, when you lick your sweat, it tastes salty.
Salty.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh,
Okay.
actually, it does actually.
It does, huh?
At least Rick wants.
Hey,
His ear tastes
hey.
salty.
Yeah. Makes
The
sense.
majority of our concentration of our sweat is made of sodium. So how are we going to get told that we should keep our sodium really low when your exercise frequency is high and you're sweating a lot? It doesn't exactly make sense. 4 to 8% is potassium, and then we see the rest is much more minimal. Calcium, magnesium, chloride, bicarbonate. These are the actual, there's more than 5 electrolytes, guys. Crazy Christian. There's actually
Wait, what?
bicarbonate, phosphorus,
Yeah, but
sulfur.
that's book. No.
Which is not real.
No. Don't worry about that.
McCollum and
Pick the
Sherelle,
5
sorry. So, in that post-training meal, you can be a little liberal with salt. So like, hey, salt your meal after. We don't want to be like deficient or low in salt either.
When you talk about salt, we talk about Himalayan salt. That's the best one to use. Himalayan salt.
Yeah, or Celtic sea salt.
Celtic
Yeah, I've
salt.
heard of
That's
it.
really good.
What's it? Celtic?
Celtic or Celtic?
But we're talking about the minus Celtic. Well, whatever.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's still important for me to understand this.
Talk about a small rock.
Yeah, okay.
Small rock.
Just quickly as well,
That's
just so I know this right, for everyone to know this, your clients you work with,
Yes.
their majority are they bodybuilding athletes? Are they physique athletes? What are they?
You guys actually care about this answer?
Yeah.
No, I'm being serious. I'm trying to say they learn more. I'm being serious.
Good question. So you guys can have some background. I don't want to really talk about myself.
Why? They need to know.
Okay.
It's the bomb.
I started Gen Pop and then athletes coming here to Woodford's, Gen Pop athletes. So it's performance.
Yeah.
The next category of people I worked with was heavy body composition. How do we get big, jacked, strong, like bigger, stronger, faster, or leaner? And then in the last, I'd say 3 years, it's been much more heavily focused in like how do we solve more complex health problems, whether it's gut issues, looking at addressing nutrient deficiencies, energy system problems, low libido, menstrual problems, like all of these things that really impact the human being. And so now It's those three categories, and like how do we maximize health, wellness, and performance.
Where do you see?
Yeah, cool.
We'll get it.
Obviously,
I'm sorry, mate.
We'll get it.
Okay, fair enough.
obviously, I'm not going to read everything out here, guys, but I made a post on this, Alyssa, answering this question.
Just wait, go on. Let me read.
What was your question again?
Wait,
What
just
would you
because.
recommend for like the best, like, if Gatorade's not the best
Cool.
option, what is the best option? So, say for them.
Dr. Stacey Sims, a really good person to follow on
Dr.
performance
Stacey
and
Sims.
female training athletes.
She from America?
Yep.
She hot?
It's up to you to decide, bro. Up to you to decide. I'm not the judge.
Well, I'll watch it. She's hot. I'm just not arguing.
Hey, 3 to 4 grams of carbohydrates per 100 mils mixed with sodium. Now, how much sodium? Let me see if I put it here, but it should be around a teaspoon.
Chris.
Okay, this is really important. Too much carbohydrates impair absorption of the fluid. So we see fluid from the intestine, go to the blood, we see fluid from the bloodstream secreted back into the small intestine, which can then cause gastric distress like diarrhea, loose stools, okay? That's how you know you've had too much, okay?
Too much carbohydrate.
Yeah, during your training.
What was the number before? Sorry.
3 to 4 grams
Of what?
per 100 mils
Per 100
is Dr. Stacey Sims' recommendation that I like, which isn't much, but you may have a litre over hours of training. So that can add up to, dozens and dozens of grams of carbs, which will help your exercise performance. So this is my answer right now. You can skip the filtered water if you don't have it.
Squeeze a lemon, lime, high mineral sodium, and electrolyte powder. Exactly what I would say.
So there's an electrolyte called Cineplex, but that can be a little bit expensive. You really just can get some salt. I'll put the post in our chat. You really can just get a teaspoon of salt.
Why can I
Per
have
bowl.
maple syrup? Just for glucose.
Yeah.
Sugar.
Yeah. It's like if you want to make your own. Yeah,
And that's-
you can use honey.
Yeah. Fair enough. That's
You can use dextrose. Monohydrate.
Oh, actually, talking about dextrose, what do you think of this thing?
Shit.
No, seriously. Seriously. I bought this.
So I hope that's practical, Alyssa.
Yeah, we got it.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah. Can't say it, is it?
Catch it. Oh!
Oh, no, not the gains.
So many gains going in.
You're gonna bulk up now.
So you guys could use this stuff as well.
Fucked with the syrup at the end. Maple syrup.
For
we
the,
just
for the
said that
glucose.
glucose. Listen, right?
And you can make it taste sweet.
Hey, listen, you're gonna have to listen now, well, you're gonna chew you
Because
out.
they can be expensive and your athletes might not want to spend the money.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, just a rapidly absorbed
Had a good
glucose.
day. Brilliant, this is brilliant. I'll take it off
And,
the train.
and it's cheap as well.
Feels good.
So what does that do?
Yeah, so like
Look at the pack is huge.
the orange plus the maple syrup. And then
See, boss? See, boss?
Wait, so this is the drink that you make yourself, that you sip during training?
Rick.
During training you sip this? So I was like, bro, if I can make my own fucking drink,
Train on, train.
if I can make my own drink,
Yes.
that fucking has all
He
this.
said it about 10
Yep.
times, Chris.
I'm just saying it's legit.
And even if that gives
Don't forget your notebook, bro.
even if that just gives you like
Oh, sorry.
10% extra better performance, Chris, like that compounds over years.
You just call me Chris. I'm fucking serious.
Did you call him Chris?
That's weird.
Chris Dice.
Oh, yeah, there's something I got.
Thanks, Al. Thanks, Alex.
For hydration?
Yeah, I always have
First start, I'm going shit.
just as a way of like punishing electrolytes, making sure you get protein and carb all in one. But
Yes.
also having the protein check.
Yeah.
Is that like post exercise? Is that still punishing everything? Because like milk's kind of like got everything. It's got calcium. It's got your electrolytes already in it, and it's also got your carbohydrates. So
You go on, dog.
Yeah, gotta go shift.
I got something on it. Theoretically, man, it might be perfectly fine.
One second, so I'm just going to go for the bar.
Here we go. Right here, bro. Milk for post-exercise rehydration.
Why is this? I've read it so many.
Listen, bros. Cows make some good shit.
See you.
So- See, boys, you're like,
Sorry, I gotta go.
yeah, you've done shit. That's okay, man. Enjoy.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Took some photos, like, good luck on video, but yeah,
Sweet.
I know just.
I'll put this up later so you guys
Yeah,
can
yeah.
rewatch it.
Have one there.
Bruh, too heavy. flip the table. I know that might be hard to read. I haven't looked at this in like 2 years, so just give me a second. Cumulative urine volume on the y-axis here. Okay, so that's the way we're measuring rehydration. Individuals dehydrated to 1.8% of body mass in a warm environment and then rehydrated with a fluid equivalent to 150% of mass lost. The closed circles are the water. Open circles, carbs plus electrolyte. Closed triangles is milk. Open triangles is milk with added sodium. So obviously the people that urinated the most lost the most water and were the least hydrated. So the carbohydrates and electrolytes. Milk. Okay, they lost the least urine, the milk groups. Net fluid balance. This is an important question. Obviously you lose a bunch when you exercise. Everybody rehydrates and comes back up together. And then the milk reach net fluid balance. But might be onto something then. And then the carbohydrates or water group, which actually aren't that different. You'd be surprised. Like you think, oh, okay, the electrolytes would save me, right? Or maybe not by themselves. Maybe we need some protein, carbs in there as well, so that milk seems like it's helping you, my man. Milk is a potential candidate for an effective post-exercise solution as it has naturally high electrolyte content, contains carbohydrates similar to many commercially available sports drinks, and a source of protein and calcium. Beautiful. Now, it's funny, I just made a post on my stories about how, look, a decent percentage of the population are lactose intolerant. So milk is gonna, make them shit their pants. Particularly Asian populations, the majority. So if you can tolerate it, awesome. If you,
even just like non-dairy milk, like
Yeah.
that's still fine.
yeah, it's probably could be your second best, and it tastes good.
Yeah.
It's easy to drink. It's quick. It's convenient. It's cheap. Because we've got to consider the habit and the behavior side of things. You want to make it easy for our clients. It's not hard. So it doesn't matter if all this science says do this and you do it once a week or you don't do it at all. Like adherence is number one. That's actually the bottom of the pyramid. Adherence. You know what? I think we keep this one on hydration, and then next time we come back and we do a nutrition one. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and we could.
There's a lot to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just the way
if we
just
start
I like
fucking nutrition now, we'll be like we'll lose it, right?
yeah,
So
just the way things are kind of break it up.
yeah,
Yeah, so
I'm
sound
happy with
good.
that.
Yeah, cool.
One thing I did was put salt in my protein shake with everything, and it did not taste great.
Really? Yeah. How much you put?
Half a teaspoon.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you can taste it. What do you put else? Do you put in your protein shake?
Creatine and then the milk.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, no wonder it fucking tastes like shit. Put a bit of yogurt or something.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Put an egg. I put a raw egg in my fucking.
oh really?
100% probably. You wouldn't taste it. Can't eat a raw egg fucking just by itself.
With a protein.
Does raw egg actually works like in
What do you mean work?
or like
What do you mean does it work?
is it able, are we able to like digest it?
Um, Yes, but then your stomach acids. Do you know what denaturing means? Have you heard of that? Denaturing.
No.
You have to break down the protein so it can be digested. Fire does that. Heat. But your stomach acids will do that as well. When something is raw, you need something to break down and denature the protein, and so our stomach acids are going to do a lot more work to do that.
What about fucking liver king? He needs liver raw.
Yeah, well, look,
Training that fucking stomach.
he's training it. Is there an argument or evidence to show that there's less nutrients available
Isn't it?
in raw meat?
When you cook
Sometimes.
cook eggs though, it affects the amount of intake you can get from the protein.
Yeah, so raw versus cooked will usually impact nutrient availability,
Yeah. No, I don't know if
and that's
it's-
applicable to meat quite a bit.
I don't know. I've heard. I don't know if I'm correct, But I've heard like cooking eggs sometimes may affect, but I don't actually know now. Maybe it's the way you cook it.
Because I've heard as well that sometimes like not with
Or
meat,
maybe
but
it's
like,
raw. Maybe it's over. I couldn't fucking know.
like it's sometimes like micronutrients like for example vitamin C. If you cook them in water, like for example broccoli, it loses vitamin C or something. Like
I'm just thinking. I could be
Yeah,
completely fucking wrong. I'm just trying to.
Here's the thing. I've seen this stuff. Like I've studied this stuff. Sounds like Ben's been exposed to it. Every food group is different, and almost every food is different. Is going to have a slightly different response depending on whether you steam something, fry something, freeze dry something.
It's different species.
So I can't say, because that would have to remember like 200 different foods and then 10 different ways to cook them. That's impossible.
You are.
I'm not a robot.
But you
I
are.
don't think it's relevant. Like it's a small rock.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
get it in the way you got to get it in. If you want to consume your organ meats raw, and you love it because it gets
You're the
views on
winner.
Instagram. Okay. Okay. Get it
Tell us
in.
about organs.
If that's the way you get your milk and calcium in, Ben, sweet.
Who's had fucking octopus raw? Love it.
I haven't had a raw, no.
No.
I'm-
Get in the fucking
I'm a
jar
bit-
with oil.
I'm a bit hesitant to eat octopus sometimes because of how intelligent they are. If you see how, like, I don't know if you guys have seen any documentaries on octopuses. Octopi. They're very smart, like dolphin level smart.
But then how the fuck's it going to be affected when they're dead and eating?
Because if you care about whether the animal
Oh, okay. So I
is
think you're gonna,
intelligent,
I think we're trying to say like
why do you eat humans?
well, I don't fucking know. No one wants to cook.
I haven't found a restaurant. I haven't found a human restaurant yet.
I don't know, bro. We're all just fucking meat and
And if you
then
could, you would, but if you could, you definitely.
like, bro, like this is when people ask me like, don't you care about the cows? Or like, what if it was a human? I'd be like, hey, cook them then. I don't care if they're dead. Fucking cook them. Like, bro, I actually like I wouldn't say like harvest them and make a farm out of them, but if you're dead and you can still eat them and it's still nutritious. Bro, then you're not fucking burning all these cunts or making funeral. Like, what the fuck's these fucking stupid
You're
cemeteries?
just standing up.
What the fuck are these cemeteries, bro? I don't want to be buried in the ground. Hey, cook me, bro. If I'm nutritious. I'm not even kidding, though.
You might be a bit diseased though, and old.
No, but yeah, but...
So
okay.
we'll eat the young ones.
Yeah, okay, if you're in that instance, and that's what I said, if you're nutritious.
Awesome value.
Don't worry about abortion.
Right. Okay.
Fuck, I feel like steak,
I'll do a summary in our it's just us now. Like we can keep going as long as there's alcohol and rehydration. Not good. Not great, I should say.
Well,
There's for alcohol, using alcohol as like to rehydrate. It's not bad, but it's not good compared to other alternatives.
Always curious about. A lot of people always tell me, "Oh, I always gain weight when I'm drinking alcohol." And
Yeah.
I always tell I'm the adverse effect. I always lose weight whenever I'm drinking.
yeah, whether you haven't any other substance with it.
I have I go for a Macros.
No. Like you told me the other night.
Oh right.
Oh,
No,
okay.
idiot. Nothing like that. No, it's just like I would drink basically beer, which is like high in carbs and everything. Yeah, you're still getting dehydrated and everything. It could just be water loss.
Yeah, what are you doing on the dance floor? You fucking sitting there muscling.
It could be.
You might have a higher sweat rate. You might be losing more water.
Bro, you take your armpits after a night out.
You might be eating less. You might compensate early in the day. I know I'm going out. Maybe you consciously or unconsciously eat less during the day. Like there's a net negative balance somewhere happening. I don't know why. You have to measure it if you can.
Measure yourself before a night out, and then once you get home, when you're stumbling all over the place, measure yourself.
Yeah, right. We talk about competition. We talk about. This is what we're talking about: hyponatremia, too much water, inadequate sodium can cause edema and fluid retention, and the sodium actually is helpful. You know, a lot of people they drink. That woman Christian mentioned who lost the competition and she died. Having enough sodium when you hydrate is another reason why. Because you won't just excrete a lot of those minerals, you won't just get it causing gastrointestinal distress, you can actually absorb the fluid much more efficiently.
It's extracted to when it's the high sodium to low sodium.
Yeah.
Nice. You guys remember that in biology back in school?
Sodium,
So
sodium.
osmosis flow.
Yeah.
That's just actually legit.
Is that Christian?
I don't know.
He's downstairs.
Oh, he's banging on the door, that's why. Come in!
Christian mentioned thirst. Like, oh, drinking to thirst is bad. Well, it's not. It's not bad. You kind of can see how it can impact these three groups here. Like, it's a helpful start, and then you can use your urine color to kind of dictate further from there. And now, like, pretty much, guys, like, I've hit the main topics on hydration and dehydration. Like, look, another one, dehydration impaired performance. Data from 34 endurance exercise dehydration studies. Fractions above bars represent the number of significant observations out of total observations for each level of dehydration. 41 out of 60 studies showed impairment performance with dehydration 2% or more. So like most of them. Any questions, thoughts, comments?
I'm going to ask, what out of the electrolytes in the general population, what do you think is lacking the most?
Potassium.
Potassium.
It's not sodium, because of how a lot of our packaged processed foods have a lot of sodium to make it taste better. Let me just pull up the list.
Can you supplement potassium?
Absolutely. You can get an electrolyte powder.
Eat some
Oh, I don't
fucking
need to do
bananas,
this.
bro.
Yeah.
But hold on, I can show it. Our tracker has this. So this is what's great about it. Let's say you want potassium. I'll scroll down.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, no shit. It's when we get this fucking.
I go potassium. And then, okay. Soybeans,
This is so good.
top 20s. You know, soybeans, kidney beans, dried apricots, fava beans, prunes. Prunes really good for constipation as well. Pistachio, lentils, chickpeas. Cool. So now figs, and it's a lot. If you guys have a look.
Did you say dark chocolate?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. check the back too, as well as the brand. But like, have a look.
Bananas in there, bro. Fuck.
Because bananas, no, we think bananas are the highest, right? In comparison to these others,
Give me mine to us, bitch.
banana potassium
Does anyone
per
have fuck yes?
100 grams.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Fuck yes. So it's a Greek food which like it's
Faki.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, what is it?
Lentil soup.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Oh, I love
Lentil soup. The Greeks do a soup called lentil soup. Yeah, cook soup.
Potassium.
Can't. I'm gonna sit there and fucking be like, baby, I'm
Potassium.
yeah, make me some. I can't tell her that she make me a whole fucking casserole full of it. It's not even fucking joking. And she'll get it here within an hour. I wouldn't eat it.
So what is that potassium gone? Here, 350 milligrams for a whole banana.
And then we're talking we need a fuck.
If we're aiming for 4
grams.
grams, exactly 4 grams. Like, okay, it's good. It's not a bad. But then what was the Gatorade? Like, what did we say? 30 milligrams?
75,
Like something abysmal.
That's shit. That's
Right?
actually like I don't
Even the sodium is like not very great.
That's good though. I like that. Like in terms of if you have one banana, that's just to kind of partially
Yeah.
supplements it. But you're not gonna have fucking 6 bananas to be like. I just love bananas, cunt. I always have banana every single day.
Every
I've
single
probably
thing.
apes and shit at Jack as well.
Can't they just jack? Because look at them swinging from trees, bro.
Just talking chips.
They need some fucking livers though. I'll tell you that.
That's sweet potato.
Sweet potatoes. Well, that's interesting.
Cool. So like similar to a banana, sweet potato, except typically people eat a lot more potato than they do bananas, right? It's like you're not just having 100 grams is quite a small amount of sweet potato. Like you might have 300-400 grams in one serving.
Yeah.
And so the reason you don't see those foods on there is because all of them are below 670 milligrams. So they're still fine, but like we can definitely make more progress with these ones right here. And this is all aggregated from like a official nutrition database.
I know you're not big on snacking, but when you look at things like dried apricots and shit, that's not going to be part of a fucking main meal.
Yep.
Like, is there a way that you do ever implement like partial meals that involve like a mixture of, like, say you're trying to boost potassium, you might have whatever fucking bit of dried apricots, and then you probably have other couple of things. So it's a little snack pack of the things that you want for that individual with a little bit of everything. Do you ever implement shit like that?
And also staying in cannibalism or animalism.
Okay.
Yeah, like if they're like snacking constantly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they're two different things right there. That's like, that could be a justification. That's what next time we'll talk about that, nutrition, like meal frequency. The old adage of needing 5, 6, 7, 8 meals a day for metabolism isn't really supported by literature. Seems to be a bit of bro science back in the day. What we do see is to maximize muscle protein synthesis and muscle accrual. What do we think? Meal frequency, protein frequency per day.
24, 30 grams each.
Yeah, your intuition is right. Like, sometimes the intuition is right, guys. Sometimes we don't. It's not fucking about asinine numbers of like 8 meals a day,
Yeah, no shit.
right? 3 meals, pretty good. 4, like, we're the most confident on. 4 meals, like, maybe like 10% better. Okay, but minimum 3 ideally if muscle accrual is priority. Now, snacking. Dude, if someone's got like 4,000 calories, a lot of food, we should say, and they need a snack just to get those in, like Benny DiCioccio, like your boy just struggles to eat food, bro, get it in the way you gotta get it in.
Well, I'm saying, when would you say if like
After training and before training.
cool?
Sorry, that's next time as well.
Yeah, so I'm all on to that. That makes sense.
After exercise, before exercise.
It's funny because I always fucking never put myself in these shoes to start to understand this stuff, because I was like, oh, someone else can fucking implement it. But now, like, as you educate more and we've had our discussions, it's like now I'm kind of on this path of like, maybe I should start to actually practice and implement it, because it can be a huge fucking variable that you can control to enhance performance.
Exactly.
If we're all about fucking performance.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Then we
something-
can't just think sets and reps.
Yeah, because like that is one aspect of performance, but like we always complain that we can't control shit, like they're training and shit, but why can't we control this? It's another variable. That's legit all we're doing. We're just trying to control as many variables as possible.
And the big rocks. Like, this is what I do. Like, this is why, like, I don't know what to call myself sometimes. Like, I'm a generalist coach. It's nutrition.
Health,
It's-
wellness, and performance.
It's HWP, baby.
HWP.
Me and Chris the other day went to the markets and we were talking about that.
Yeah,
I literally changed my coaching membership from a coaching membership to HWP Performance. Like, not the name of my company, but the name of
the option you can do.
yeah, the option.
We had a discussion of that.
Yeah. Now, let's be realistic. It's not within maybe you guys's y'all's.
Yeah.
Y'all's scopes. It's not within the scope of like maybe you guys right now to work in like in-depth nutrition yet, or the blood work and gut stuff that I do, or like supplementation.
Hit the basic rocks.
Hydration.
It's
We can talk about hydration.
Like, or even if you're not looking at plans and shit, like just look, like where it gets as part of hydration, like your electrolytes and shit, like it's like stuff that you can fucking look at.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me just scroll through this. Let's see, because I know you guys aren't. I have a bit longer of attention span here. So, we didn't talk about this. Recommendations for pre-exercise fluid intake. Athletes may achieve euhydration before exercise by consuming a fluid volume equivalent to, some people like objective numbers, and this is like 5 to 10 milliliters per kilogram of body weight in the 2 to 4 hours before exercise to achieve a urine that is pale yellow color, while allowing for sufficient time for exercise fluid to be voided. So that means for a 75 kilogram athlete, 375 to 750 mils 2 to 4 hours before exercise. It gives you something tangible and objective. Hey coach, how much do I drink in the morning until your urine is like pale yellow color? Or you just you standardize it by their body weight, and you give them a relative number, because some athletes are just They're idiots. With respect, like they're just not switched on to the awareness of their body.
Yeah.
So if you can give them a tangible number, sorry, what's that? It's a liter? All right, drink all of it. Drink almost all of it. And don't get fooled by this. Most people don't know this. Post-exercise urine color is a bad indicator of hydration because the concentration post-exercise increases due to this hormone called vasopressin or antidiuretic hormone, and that increases the concentration of the urine, making it look darker.
Yeah, it's always dark.
Yeah. It's darker because you're dehydrated, but it's also darker because vasopressin, which antidiuretic hormone, antidiuretic, what could that do? What's a diuretic? Diuretic makes you, because it makes you pee, right? You can take a diuretic to help you pee. Antidiuretic hormone is a hormone that's released a lot, supposed to be when we sleep as well, to hold on to fluid, to hold on to urine via the kidneys. This is increased during exercise, so we don't piss ourselves while we run around. Right? It's practical. Because of this, concentration is going to be dark. Oh, coach, look how dehydrated I am. Yeah, you probably are. We weigh ourselves to confirm that, and then we wait until the next urination after that. But don't let physiology fool you, because it can. Fluid replacement and performance. Sports drinks can improve exercise capacity in the heat, check. Improvement in performance may be as much from carbohydrate intake as fluid replacement. And we can see here, make it bigger, time to exhaustion. I should have shown this earlier, but hopefully everybody's still watching. Time to exhaustion. 80 minutes. Anyone know what this is? Anybody would describe it in other words, or what that means?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, like it's important we know how to like read this shit sometimes, you know?
So it's like when you're talking about like if there was like the odd result that was out further, like that was higher than like the average amount.
Yeah.
Required amount. Or
So what was the highest like?
They call them error bars.
Yeah.
So if the average was here, we had some people here. Remember in this research that it's all on averages.
Yes.
It's all reporting averages. Some people, holy shit, they didn't drink water and they had time to exhaustion was like fine.
So there's the outliers.
Some people, pretty low, quick. They get exhausted quick. Anyway, the average was 80. Water, holy shit, that's like nothing. Not nothing. That's a small amount. We went from 80 minutes and we got an extra 15 minutes. Not maybe as much as we think in comparison to 200 millimoles per liter of glucose and 35 millimoles of sodium. You can convert that into grams. And then, but hold on, that's less. Okay. But it's more sodium. So, TLDR, like summary, sodium and glucose appears to now also be important for reducing time to exhaustion. Is that the difference between you feeling strong and good into your fourth quarter or gassing out a little bit in your third? 80 minutes, 110 minutes. It's not a small amount. It's like a meaningful difference, right?
Yeah, interesting because we talked about how much sodium will lose because of the sweat. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now look, we don't want to get married to one study, but we see pretty consistently, like we showed the meta-analysis, like 40 out of 61 studies, we showed the strength training one, like we start to see consistencies, like be very careful about people cherry-picking evidence and research and be like, oh, look at this one study, it showed this. Like a big one that vegan communities like to do is red meat causing colorectal cancer, okay? And yeah, like you can find a couple studies showing that. It's a very emotional topic for people. But if we look at the birth and consistency of the literature, it's very mixed. It's fucking all over the place.
Find whatever the fuck you want in research.
Yeah, and that's why we never look at one study, we look at what the totality is saying and where it's pointing. If it's mixed, we can't confidently say shit. We can confidently say we don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
This, thank God, it's unemotional. It's water. It's glucose. It's no emotion. Sodium.
Except for Brick.
Huh?
Except for Brick.
Right, with the diet, right?
Yeah. Where's that stuff?
Oh, the brick study.
He's got
Okay.
his PhD in fucking diet, right? And hydration. Fucking see it.
We've talked about milk being definitely viable and effective. Hydration and strength performance. Hydration and aerobic performance. That people's skin temperature was... Oh, that's why I didn't read it. 4 groups of men completed constant intensity, 50% VO2 max cycle exercise, followed by a time trial of 10, 20, 30, 40 degrees, which is those 4 groups. Either euhydrated or hyperhydrated. There was a little effect on core temperature, but a stepwise effect on skin temperature. So skin temperature is going to be high. It's going to be hard to cool your body down, but body temperature wasn't that different. And this, Manav, what you said before, why intake 150% of fluids, and Ben said before, to account for continued fluid loss through sweating, like we said. That's another thing. Takeaway, practical takeaway. I like practical shit. I hope it's been practical. There's a lot here actually on... Hey, yeah, training in the heat. Geez, like heat will fuck you. Heat is.
Yeah.
Anybody train outdoors or like heat outdoors? Like, what do you do?
Heat outdoors.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like what piss outside?
PE outdoors.
Oh, yeah.
Compete.
Oh.
Like in hot temperatures.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
really hard.
You don't need a fucking study to tell you that you get tired and fatigue quicker.
So much quicker. It's fucked every pre-season.
I had cracking matches.
Yeah.
What
Summer.
degrees?
Fucked.
What are we doing? Okay. The goal then would be, just to finish off, is like keep our body temperature from getting too high.
Thermoregulation, mate.
And how do we like regulate heat better? So then we can maintain fluid balance better, maintain performance better.
What about the temperature of water that you shoot?
Yeah, absolutely. That's been studied again. It's in here. Ice in water helps. If you ingest it, you ingest cold water, it does seem to have like a moderate effect on reducing body temperature. So think for you and your athletes, if you're on the field with them, maybe if you're a coach of a team one day, okay, you got team A who are hydrating with water that is air temperature. You have team B that is hydrating with water that's got ice in it, or it's been in the freezer. And then they also have glucose and sodium. If the conditioning and everything else is the same, the skill set of the teams are the same, they're identical, then what we should see is what? Which team's going to win? We know.
You're going to run it out, mate.
Water, we can get away with under 1 hour. It's when we start to see over 1 hour, 2 hours plus, marathon stuff, long distance, long games.
What if we're talking about, okay, under 1 hour, but like, what if we're saying like, you know, someone comes in here, they might not spend fucking 2 hours, 3 hours, but they still spend maybe an hour and 15, hour and a half. That's, where do we put that on the...
It's a spectrum.
Yeah.
It's, so...
What would you do? Would you still implement your glucose, your electrolytes?
What about like high intensity, but like about 1 hour, like not more than 1 hour, like less than 1 hour, like half an hour or something, but high intensity.
I don't know. It's a good question. I'm not going to bullshit you guys. Like, I don't know. It's a good question. If you want to err on the side of caution, use it. If you want to minimize this being potentially impeding your performance, I would do it. For example, me, see, my weight training sessions go over 1 hour, so it's not that applicable, but I would do it anyway. I have
like say an hour and a half.
Yeah, I have my essential amino acids, I have my electrolytes, my creatine, my glutamine. like every time. Doesn't matter about the duration, because it's just a good habit I want to maintain, just in case. So I would say the higher the expectations you and the athlete and client have, the more that is required of them. The more important the smaller rocks are. But this right here, you could say is a big rock. You boys, give me a summary, give me 2 points to take away from today, practical. And then you guys can go as well if you got one. One thing that's going to help inform your coaching or even your own training.
For me personally, on the field, weighing myself beforehand and then weighing myself afterwards.
Beautiful.
Bit of rotation, fluid intake.
And then that telling you how much to hydrate with. Awesome. One other?
Oh, 2, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Pre and post training sodium and glucose.
Yep.
Just start implementing that slowly.
In training, in particular.
In training?
Yes, during training.
Sorry,
Yeah. The pre,
Right.
from a nutrition standpoint, yes, absolutely. We'll talk about that next time. But when you just talk about hydration in the training session is where all that research we looked at,
Yeah, okay.
glucose and electrolytes, and then yes, salt in your meals after. Yeah, naturally.
Just had a question. Does the hydration varies in terms of like pre-match, in match, or an after match, or
Does say that question one more time?
so the hydration like the way you hydrate yourself, like the amount of sodium or electrolytes you put in your water, does that vary like pre-training, in match, and after match, post training?
I haven't seen stuff on pre and post,
Yeah.
like specific numbers to give you, but we did talk about the intra one. Did any of you guys take that? We did talk about how much.
Yeah.
Actually, no. We just talked about. Actually, I didn't.
Post the sodium and the potassium.
Yeah, they were the targets.
That would be just per day.
We talked about the glucose giving you a specific target.
Yeah.
The sodium was, I believe I told you about a teaspoon to half a teaspoon. I don't know if
2 grams of sodium
2 grams.
yeah, that was per day
per day.
as a
That's just as a
maximum recommended daily intake by the
Some
the
government
government.
body.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the actual specific name of the government body. But athletes, people who are lean, people who don't have high blood pressure or comorbidities, or like diseases, they can get away with pushing that higher, and it actually is probably recommended to an extent. So be careful about people who tell you just sodium is bad. Hold on, context. See, that's the thing. I don't know if I've found a specific sodium number yet. Sodium should be included in fluids consumed during exercise that lasts more than 2 hours. It should also be included in an event where you lose more than 3 to 4 grams of sodium in the sweat. No one's going to fucking know that. Do we think we sweat more or less if we're fitter, more conditioned?
I suppose less.
Okay.
Cause
If you can say why?
cause I reckon like depends on temperature as well, but like cause you sweat just to balance out the body temperature. Is that it?
Fuck, I'd say more.
Yeah, maybe because you
Because
better.
better thermoregulation. So you're gonna actually create a greater sweat response, especially when you're on periods of high temperature.
That's the answer. I know we're just like, oh, I'm more efficient, right?
Yeah.
But you're more efficient.
By
Remember what
more,
sweating does. It cools your body temperature.
You're thinking about a step ahead that you're gonna refuel it, but sweating's not a bad thing.
No, exactly.
Sweating's a
It's
good
useful.
thing.
cools your body.
Yes. I remember that because I asked myself that exact same question a
That's
couple
why
years ago.
I swim so much.
Oh, fuck off. Yes, me too.
Look at this.
Fuck. Whoa. Damn. Fuck me, so many notes to take away. I need to try this water, lemon, sodium, orange, and I'm not bro, legit, that's why I wrote it down. I mean, in America every
Is that
day.
post performance?
No, during, bro.
During.
We sit there in the Iowa team, hey boys, let's all get some water, then I'll start chopping it up for the boys. And then you bring the oranges, and then you bring the oranges to the game. I do the same but different.
It's always been Australia, maybe.
I don't see specific grams, unfortunately, of sodium. What I do see is,
Wait, specific games of sodium of what?
yeah, of like intra or post. Unfortunately, I don't have specific data on how much precise sodium should we give you, but if you go half a teaspoon to a teaspoon, is what I've seen most consistently by people, like
Oh,
just
really?
generally speaking.
Realistically, if you're fueling it efficiently day in, day out, like, that's already a fucking big win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, before you start and getting into the nitty gritty of, like, when you do it. Do you know what I
Now,
mean?
how much? But the question was how much.
Oh, no, but I'm saying, like, do you mean as long as you're hitting that targeted amount each day,
Yeah.
is it going to be the, you know, I'm sure there's a difference, but it's going to be the biggest difference if how much you, if you separate, where you separate it.
Between like 2 and 3 grams of salt per day,
No,
for
so you can
example.
have two, so either way, at the end of the day, you finish with 2 grams and that's optimal for you.
Yeah.
Is it going to be the end of the world if you separate it, you know, around the training time, or if you fucking just split it up in the day? Do you know what I mean? Like,
For performance, yes.
yes.
When you're training, we want sodium when we're training.
Okay, right then, yeah.
That's the most important time for salt to come in, during and post,
Makes sense.
particularly during. The rest of the day, negligent, whatever.
Okay, cool. Fresh.
Oh, Ben, what was 2 things for you? And then we're good.
Definitely, it was like a lot of things that were just a bit hazy in terms of like my knowledge. I was just like, basically all the questions that I asked in terms of like stuff that I'm already doing, I'm just like, am I actually,
Yeah,
is it making a difference?
That's milk.
Yeah, definitely, like the milk. I was just like, oh, I'd be curious to see if that's made a difference. Because I always thought like, okay, what's one thing that I'm lacking a lot? And that was calcium purely because I can't have dairy because I'm allergic to dairy. So
Oh,
like,
really?
I was always just like thinking,
Wait, so what do you have lactose-free dairy?
Yeah.
Milk?
yeah.
Okay.
So like I just consume that. Like literally doctors have always said you've got to, like it used to be when I was young, I consumed just like a whole mug of milk just in the morning, just like down it. And that's how I get my calcium in the day. Also because I'm a fussy eater as well, so
Yeah.
it does not help.
Can you tolerate cheese and yogurt?
Nah, it's all got dairy in it. Isn't it?
So it's the lactose itself that's a problem, or something else?
Well, I've never
Maybe.
actually asked when I've like been tested for like what part of it
Yeah.
is, but like that's why I've always been really skeptical about taking whey protein, because like, that's literally the breakdown of dairy.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if I'm actually allergic to dairy, if I'm actually allergic to lactose or whey. So yeah.
Well, dairy is the food group,
Yeah.
but then there's all these other milk proteins that you could be, or whatever. Milk.
Yeah.
Yes. What else?
So that was the one big one, and then.
They say like Christian will try and pull me into the weeds so much. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's like, you got to know in conversation of any time when you're like some of you guys will be here. Oh, you're here. You're here.
Yeah.
Like, when you guys are here, got to know, like, I'm doing it right now. This is from a book I just read.
I like this.
So you have a central idea that you want to talk about. And my question was, what's your 2 points? Okay? We just went here, you started telling me about milk, and where did we go? We went to fucking milk proteins, and then we went we went to like, oh, what about whey? Maybe whey's got some shit in it. I'm like, hold up, we're getting far away from where we went, okay? When someone's talking to you and you're asking questions, let's say Christian's like, oh, hey man, we're talking in the middle of hydration, and Christian's, because he's got this like ADHD type thing, right? And that's what makes him great as well. But it's what makes him like actually a pretty poor listener and communicator. Unless he's doing like a formal presentation or a workshop. But even then, he can go off. So we're talking about hydration, studies and shit, and then he's like, what's one question he asked me? Can you tell me?
Is the doctor hot?
That's fucking all the way. That's fucking like...
I couldn't go any further down. It's off the fucking whiteboard.
He fucking lost the shot, right? He's the doctor. Because he actually asked it. That's the fucking fun.
But that's a yes or no answer. The question you answered like, oh, what type of clients do you work with? So we're here. What type of clients do you work with? Ah, shit, okay. I can tell the guys in like a minute. And then he's like, oh, what's your vision and like for the future and shit? And it's like, where the fuck are we going?
Like the efficiency, from an efficiency standpoint, it's actually pretty fucking useless because you're not actually targeting what you just want.
Exactly. That's why Liz's question was like, I was scrolling. It took me a little bit to get to. So that's a moment of us getting a bit lost there. This right now, this whole thing I'm showing you is an example of that because we still haven't gotten to your second point. So you see my point? But I did that on purpose to show a communication thing.
I like that.
Definitely the second.
You never think about it.
The dark chocolate as well. Like, I know it's nutrition based, but like in terms
Potassium?
of yeah, just like potassium and everything, and how that's like basically the one thing that people lack in.
Yeah.
Like the sort of run meals. Like, wow. Like how is it that people lack potassium in so many ways when it's like such a crucial thing?
And it's because, look, you see the types of foods it's in.
Yeah.
These aren't exactly common foods people eat. I mean, people think I eat a banana a day, my potassium's fine. Bro,
Shut up.
you don't even, you need like 10 bananas,
Yeah.
right? 20 bananas, calm down. You're not there yet.
Like a banana, my potassium. It's actually funny because it's so true.
Does anybody have personal or relatives or family or themselves have high blood pressure?
Yeah.
Dad has it.
Yeah, my dad.
Every Greek. Every Greek couple.
Every Greek dad. Yeah, my dad
I
too.
won't say anyone about it.
Can't. I tried to get my dad working with Saad once. Fuck me. So stubborn. Felt sorry for Sandals.
I remember we did a couple sessions and I never saw him again.
I was like to my dad, are you fucking serious, bro? Make me look like shit.
What did he say?
He's like, I'm busy. It's like, yeah, I can't. You're always fucking busy.
I just neglect it.
Yeah.
When people say that, I always tell them, Barack Obama, the President of the United States, one thing I always heard, I think it's true, may not be, but 30 minutes of exercise every morning. You always make time for 30 minutes. Oh, you busier than the former President of the United States? No. There's priorities of who you want to be.
You do your job better, baby. But it's every fucking Greek dad.
Oh yeah.
But their knee hurts though, of course.
Yeah,
Their neck, or hip, or back.
Or
Yeah.
back. It's back.
Yeah.
Have you tried getting them in the gym? Do you want to distract with it?
Nah, I can't.
That's what I was coaching through a couple sessions.
That's why I got that sentence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago, but then, no. That's okay, it's not his time yet. Blood pressure, high blood pressure is really bad. Stroke, kidney failure, heart failure, like all types of problems. Potassium blunts the potential damaging effects that sodium has. So you can have a higher sodium, but be more protective. It's like, you get the high sodium zealots, be like sodium salt's bad for you. Well, if you have high potassium, blunt the effects. This is relevant to sports performance. Like magnesium, it protects against twitching, spasming, cramping. It partners with sodium to help absorb, retain, and use many of the nutrients and other substances. Cool. Just a little thing.
I like that.
Okay.
Pickle juice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like have potassium.
I love a good pickle.
Is that packed with potassium in it?
Oh.
It's got a bit of sodium in it. I don't know about potassium, but they've got quite a bit of sodium. People actually do drink it for like hydration.
I don't understand how people can drink it because
It's pretty strong.
Are you serious? Have you ever drugged the netta? You drugged the netta, the fucking vegetables and vinegar.
Oh,
Yeah, you had that? Can't I fucking eat that for breakfast, bro? That shit's unreal. What's wrong?
Do we have any other questions, thoughts, comments, things we disagree with?
My thought is, well, why the fuck am I not implementing this?
Yeah.
I'm angry at
Something so
myself.
simple.
I'm so angry at myself.
It's an afterthought. It's an afterthought because we take it for granted. We take for granted the food we eat. Well, not as much because it's very like emotional sometimes, but the water's water. Comes out the tap. Whatever.
I was going to ask you about filtered water, but that's
Yeah.
a whole other tangent. Or?
Here, I can show you a 60-second video I made.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Is that you facing it?
Yeah, it has my face in it. Of course it does. I have a filtered water. I use filtered water. I think we're pretty lucky here in Melbourne, and Tasmania has even better water.
This is a real big tangent, off tangent, fucking like just.
Hold on, tangent off tangent. We're going here. We're going with the
Yeah,
dots.
we're going because we're at the end now, so I can't want to go on it. Every time you get home and you do like work and shit, do you have to have your top off? Is that part of it? Is that between you and me?
As soon as I walk in the door, I'm busting to get my shirt off, bro, and just rip everything off.
I just want to be like you and me, like.
Here, look, this is why Chris. Sorry, this is why Chris is.
Oh, no.
Every call we've ever had, it's like, I'm like, do I take mine off too? I'm like,
Bro, I'm so comfortable shirtless, and it's warm. It's warm when I did this.
I froth that, bro.
I think Ahmed was saying it's better to sleep naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My coat it is.
Yeah.
Bro, my cock's always out.
To regulate your body temperature
Even when I was in the
and
bed.
keep you cool.
Yeah, apparently.
Let's see if we can hear this. Water filter looks like after 4 months. This is what a brand new water filter looks like. You have a choice. We all have a choice. We can consume tap water, it's fine, and let our own body detoxify metals and chemicals and toxins and certain compounds and metabolites, or we can ease a bit of the burden from different detoxification pathways, phase 1, phase 2, glutathione, B vitamins. We can ease some of the burden here and allow a water filter to help us out a little bit, because guess what? Your body's going to do this, but I would rather the filter help me out and help me with the alley-oop to help my health and wellness just a little bit.
Full stop. Simple, on the point,
Yeah.
bang.
I'm going to leave that one up to you guys,
Yeah.
but the
He's gonna leave that up
choice
to
is
you, James.
obvious
Yeah,
to
okay.
me which
I was
one.
thinking it.
Is that actual water filter?
Yeah.
I'm not fucking kidding, bro.
What about the jug ones? Are they effective at all? The jug filters? No.
These are the most effective, like gold standard.
Yeah.
It's a couple of $100 investment into like a little tank and a filter.
Sometimes they're like
They're a fine
Japanese.
start. I don't know much about them though. I think it would be better than nothing, if that's going to get you started.
Jugs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, actually, another question that I had.
Yeah.
What if you come back from training, like it's 8 o'clock, and you know you're trying to wind down to bed, and it's always been like said to not consume too much water, otherwise then you'd like get up in the middle of the night constantly peeing. Like, how do you then make up for
Look
that?
this, man.
Like, is there a quick fix? Maybe like, oh shit, I can't get much of my fluid in. Can I like maybe have like a little powder or something that's
There's no replacement for water.
yeah.
You'd always ask, can we get it in before the activity? But let's say the point is we can't. We can't drink. Something's happened. We got home late. And your thing is we don't want to drink too much water so we don't pee in the middle of the night and wake up so many times.
Yeah.
Okay. I've had client in myself nocturia, which is multiple urinations in the night.
I have that.
Yeah, really can be annoying because sleep is so important, and getting up to sleep can be very disruptive. So, number one, if we know sodium helps absorb and retain fluid, then we can use that to our advantage. And so what you could do is you could drink your water, but then you need to start playing with sodium and potassium dosages, particularly sodium. And then you would add in, you would a gram with your last meal, maybe half a gram, and I would go up in half a gram increments and then test and see at what level you urinate the least, because sodium as well will help regulate these, the fluid retention, antidiuretic hormone as well.
That's not as spiritual.
And then on some real shit, because we're guys here, we can get away with it. I did this with one of my clients, and it sounds a bit strange at the start, but even if you get up in the night to urinate, it can be pretty disruptive to like go all the way to the bathroom, maybe there's some light, and you gotta walk, your blood pressure goes up, and you gotta wind back down. Hey? Just pee in a bottle, bro. Dude, what do who's care? Who's gonna care? We live with maybe our spouse, our girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Or
Nice.
our family who like, I do it, and I did it when I lived in my family, I do it now. And it's probably one of the best things I did for Tyler, one of my clients. He's like, dude, I fall asleep so much quicker. And
Sure, that bottle's just meant for pissing.
yeah, you gotta replace it too. You gotta replace that shit every
You got the wrong one.
It's interesting too though, because you can actually see how hydrated or dehydrated you are. It's legit, and it's a weed killer. Do not put that. I thought that sometimes the minerals actually help plants grow. No, they're gonna kill it.
Really?
I learned the hard way.
What about lemons?
Don't piss on your lemon tree.
My Paul always said.
You always did?
Yeah,
Look, there might be some outliers, but everything I've tried
Maybe
has
this
died.
piece is different.
I think it would be. That's OG. OG.
Yeah.
You can't compare, man. They've been in the Mediterranean diet forever. Right, olive oil and nuts.
Fucking
Fish.
grass.
So, on some real shit, you sit up, you get a plastic bottle, and you cut the top off. It's a real DIY. And then, it's probably the most popular Instagram post, watch this. And then, you just lean forward, and you keep your eyes closed, and you have at it. And
So you
then,
sit down and piss?
I don't stand up.
You want to
I don't even, no, I don't lie
Yeah, because you
down.
don't fucking be like.
No, because then the
That's
defeats
not
the
a
purpose.
practice.
I don't want to stand up and alert and arouse myself by standing up, blood pressure, heart rate goes up. So I just lean and I just, do my thing.
Let your cock hang and push.
That's right, because you're naked when you sleep, it's easy money. It's easy.
Does Carrie wake up?
We sleep in different beds.
No
Yeah,
shit.
that's sleep, baby.
Yeah, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been on the same page for years like that. I know it's a pretty uncommon thing. It's like, oh, what? You sleep in different beds?
I don't
we sleep
find
in
it because I know you're gonna fucking hang out on the couch and shit like that.
Yeah, it's like we have a healthy, great relationship even though we sleep in different beds. And she's respected that as a boundary. Sleep is really important to me. I would do it if I could, but I don't know about you guys, but sleeping in the same bed as someone has always been disruptive to my sleep. You're saying? Some people are really good, some people it doesn't matter, right?
There's certain people that can like spoon
Yeah.
for the whole time. Like, dude, I need
Yeah.
to like
Yeah,
go on my own.
give my
side.
space.
Yeah.
I'm very particular how I sleep.
Is that like
on the
different
side.
beds or different rooms as well? Like,
But, yeah, different rooms. So she got upstairs and I got the downstairs.
Oh, yeah, that's legit though. That's fucking sick.
Like people do it like once they like 50 and 60, like oh now we sleep in different bedrooms because he snores and blah. I'm just gonna get ahead of it. What are we gonna wait? What are we
No,
gonna
it's just
tolerate?
sleep, bro. Like, it's not the end
Yeah.
of the day if you don't fucking spend time sleeping together. It's like, and I know you for who you are. You're gonna spend quality time with it other times.
Exactly.
It's like you're not present when you're sleeping. You just
Yeah.
seem like probably fart on them or something. Like they don't want that. Like they're just gonna hate you more when you fucking sleep with them.
And she sleeps like a rock. I'm a bit of a lighter sleeper, and so sometimes if I can't sleep in the middle of the night, I'll get up and read with my red light, and I'll read. And it's like, you don't want to just stir up someone by reading and like
Sure.
doing things. Anyway, do you guys still live at home, or you guys live with a partner?
Just at home, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well,
I love sleeping on the side.
planting your
Legs
seat.
like 90 degrees, pillow in between. That's how it is.
A pillow in between is a
I
good move.
understand always.
I do that.
Can't have it touching there. There, the ball can hang out a little bit.
The ball, the single ball, the one.
That's what a lot of fucking tests.
That's a good sign, actually. Look, it's not. There's no research for this, I don't think. But like, erections during the night. Christian's actually said this before. During the night and when you wake up, like, seems to be a good sign for growth hormone and testosterone.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't. I would say it could be. It seems like it.
Don't get too before to get up. Like, did I get a fucking bun? Like,
Yeah.
take a second, like, take a breath. It's alright.
Yeah, that's right. It's probably a good
You know what's good for a hard cock? Having a good aerobic base.
Is that right?
Blood flow. Cardiovascular
blood
health.
flow. Yeah.
100%.
Thoughts on the
I'm not even
version
fucking kidding. Huh?
Inversion tables.
Sorry,
What's an inversion table?
it's like a flip chart.
Yeah, hang upside down.
Because my brother just bought one. I don't know if there's any sort of.
Bro, I went from fucking laying on your side
Yeah,
with
sorry,
sorry, to all of a sudden.
And you got up blood flow, and I was like, look at this.
So you hang upside down.
Look,
I don't know. It's
I like to
probably
move a little bit. Like I don't want to fuck us up.
not- No, I'm not saying to sleep. I'm just.
Oh, you missed
No,
me.
I'm
You can sleep like that. Please, fucking hell.
On one hand, it's like you get a nice decompressive tensile force,
That's what it is,
right? And it can feel good, like hanging. You guys hang from a bar?
Yeah.
A little bit of that.
Dunno.
Maybe there's something to do with like lymphatic flow. With now hanging upside down, you can like distribute fluid and lymph around your body better.
Yeah. I just thought I'd ask.
There's two things: big rocks and small rocks. So fucking small rock.
That's a fucking pebble cunt.
If is your brother? Yeah, your brother better be fucking stellar with his big rocks. And
Is he?
Yeah, because people like the fancy shit,
Bro, it's
Yeah, that's
actually
what
the
it is.
biohacks.
Yeah.
Did he
Let me
actually
get my
buy it?
MCT oil.
No, it's good for a decompression of your spine.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
But like,
After
I don't
training,
think like it's $500 for decompression. Just hang onto a branch. But it's cool. Like you can try. You can
Look at the
experiment.
monkeys. cunt.
Experiment. Huh? Yeah. You can just do that.
Can't, I'd rather buy an Aura ring than fucking that.
Yeah, yeah, like sleep
You know,
tracker.
yeah,
Yeah,
love them.
absolutely. But get one for Alex.
Yeah, I know. I'm ready to get that.
Yeah, absolutely.
How much is accurate or not?
What?
Look,
Watches.
do the watches? What's happening? Fitbit?
Yeah. So Garmin, for example.
Does it measure sleep?
Yeah.
It does.
Don't get me angry at me. I didn't know. It's like,
He's not angry. Just how he
angry.
talks.
Sometimes like I was like fuck, I had a really fucking good sleep and she was like fuck,
Yeah.
it was just light sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
yeah,
okay.
but you sleep like fucking 4 hours a night. You don't
They're
know
not the
what
most
it's
accurate for quality of
I
sleep.
sleep like 8 hours.
They're good.
Sometimes.
Most times.
No.
They're decent for duration.
Yeah.
For stages of sleep is pretty hit and miss because you need to measure brainwaves for stages of sleep accurately.
Aura ring's fucking legit.
O-ring is probably the best. That and the Whoop strap seem to be some of the best on the market for accuracy. $300. I use it for my clients. Use it for years, and it just gives you more awareness for you and your clients on sleep quality and duration and restlessness, heart rate variability, resting heart rate. That's the stuff. It's body temperature. Really nice to map when you're sick. Body
Do you only wear
temperature
it
goes
when
up.
you sleep?
Sorry?
Do you only wear it when you
I
sleep?
do. People wear it during the day. It's not valuable during the day for
I
me.
used to wear it though. That's a good thing to do.
Yeah, I tested it, but it got in the way more, especially when you train. But when you sleep, as like markers of recovery, we look at heart rate variability, we look at resting heart rate, something you guys can all do. Am I well recovered? How do I know? Well, I can just feel. Feel is it's a bit unreliable. You do your heart rate in the morning, 30, 60 seconds, or you get a ring and you measure it, and then if it goes up, compared to the baseline, if your baseline is 40 beats per minute when you sleep, and you've gone up by a deviation of 3 to 5 beats, we know we're what? What do you guys think if our heart rate's going up? Less or more recovered? Less recovered?
If what?
If the heart rate is going up.
When sleeping or in general? What are we talking about?
After sleep.
Oh, after sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, we went after sleep.
On when we sleep,
Right, yeah.
oh sorry, it's both. When we sleep and when we wake up and measure our
Less
heart rate.
recovered.
Sorry.
Less recovered.
If the heart rate goes up, it's an indicator of poorer central nervous system, autonomic nervous
Oh, so
system
right.
recovery. Okay? Less recovered. So, something you guys can use. It's something that
It just makes sense though, like when you're fucking anxious and stressed, your heart rate's going up and you
Yeah.
don't
Like,
want to go.
what is the average heart rate should be like when you're like resting? Not sleeping, just resting normally.
So, hey, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, that's a bit dependent. Like there is ranges, but there you go.
Like,
yeah, what's the
the
range?
average adult male and female sit between like 60 to 80 beats per minute. It's like a general
Yes.
healthy-ish range. Or athletes will be like 40 to 60. Elite will be like 30s. Like
Some
Olympic
fucking
elite,
six movers,
which is
32.
very, very low. Anyway,
But that's legit, like that's a strong heart per beat. Stroke volume to be fucking
through the roof.
through the roof. Go fucking
Efficiency.
I think
can't, it's legit though. But like you gotta learn how to control your heart rate too. I think that's a big thing as well.
Absolutely, that's another conversation. Performance,
Like,
arousal,
yeah.
psychology.
Like, cause then it can, if you fucking, like you could have like be super fit, but if you're anxious all the time, you're never actually gonna drop in it. Oh, I think you said it affects your dropping.
Cool, boys. Is it good? Alright.
My fault.
I hope that was valuable.